Welcome back to my channel. Everyone, if you love rare and valuable coins, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to talk about four amazing U.S. quarter dollars. 2000 New Hampshire, 1965, 1981 D, and 1985 P quarters. Some of these coins look ordinary, but few can actually be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on certain rare features. So make sure you watch this video till the end. Let's start with the 2000 New Hampshire State Quarter. This coin was released as part of the 50 State Quarters program. On the reverse, it features the Old Man of. The mountain is a famous rock formations that was once a symbol of New Hampshire. Now, here's the interesting part. Most 2000 New Hampshire quarters are worth only 25 cents. But if you have one in Mint State MS67 or higher, it can sell for $100 to $250 at auction. There's also a rare error variety known as the extra tree or double die reverse, where you can see an extra line or doubling near the tree. Those error coins can be worth $500 or more, depending on condition. The New Hampshire quarter was released in the year 2000 as part of the U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarters program, which started in 1999 and ran until 2008. Each state has a special design representing its heritage, culture, or landmarks. New Hampshire was the ninth state to join the Union, officially admitted on June 21, 1788. That's why the date 1788 appears on the coin, marking the year of statehood. This coin was the ninth quarter released overall in the series, right after the Massachusetts quarter and before the Virginia quarter. Let's talk about the design, which is one of the most iconic of the series. On the reverse side, designed by William, cousins based on artwork by Marshall Frederick, we see the legendary Old Man of the mountain and natural rock formation on Cannon Mountain in New Hampshire. This rock profile resembled the face of an old man and was a symbol of the state's individualism and stubborn strength. Below it, you'll find the state's motto, "Live free or die." That phrase was written by General John Stark, a hero of the American Revolutionary War. It perfectly represents the state's independent spirit. At the bottom, the coin reads, New Hampshire 1788, and the release year 2000. The obverse side features a classic portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, which appears in all state quarters. Above Washington's head, you can see the United States of America, and below, the denomination quarter dollar. The New Hampshire quarter was minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia Mint P, Denver Mint D, San Francisco Mint S. Let's look at the mintage numbers. Philadelphia P, around 673 million coins. Denver D, around 495 million coins. San Francisco S, proof clad around 4 million. San Francisco S, proof silver around 880,000. That's a huge production, but only proof. Coins and certain error coins are valuable today. Let's go through the technical details. Composition 91.67% copper, 8.33%. Nickel for circulation coins. Weight 5.67 grams. Diameter 24.26 millimeters. Edge reeded. Designer obverse, John Flanagan. Designer reverse, William Cousins. The silver-proof versions, however, contain 90% silver and 10% copper, making them far more collectible. The Old Man of the Mountain wasn't just a design, it was a real geological feature. In New Hampshire, that became a state symbol. Sadly, in May 2003, just 3 years after this quarter's release, the formation collapsed due to natural erosion. That made this coin even more special. It preserves the image of something that no longer exists in real life. Collectors love that historical connection. Now, let's talk about errors and varieties, which can make your New Hampshire quarter extremely valuable. Some of the known and collectible errors include look for doubling on letters or numbers, like 2000 or New Hampshire, clip planchet errors parts of the coin missing due to a misfeed in the minting press, off-center strikes where the design is not centered properly, broad strike errors coins that appear wider and flatter due to striking outside, the collar, die cracks or die chips raised lines, or blobs, especially around the old man. Image. Some of these error coins have sold for $100 to over $500, depending on their condition and rarity. Here's what the 2000 New Hampshire $quarter is worth today. Circulated coins 25 cents to $1 common. Uncirculated coins MS-60, MS-65 $2 to $10. High grade MS-68 plus can go up to $100 or more. Silver-proof versions $8 to $20. Error coins $50 to several $100s. Always check your coin's mint mark and condition, especially for proof or error versions. If you're building a 50 state quarters collection, this coin is a must-have. Look for proof sets from the year 2000, and always store your coins in protective holders to avoid scratches or oxidation. If you find one in perfect, uncirculated condition, keep it safe. It could appreciate in value over time. The 2000 New Hampshire quarter is part of the U.S. Mint's 50-state quarters program, launched by the U.S. government in 1999 under the 50 States Commemorative Coin Program Act. This was one of the most successful coin programs in U.S. history, running from 1999 to 2008. Each year, 5 new state quarters were released in the order the states joined the Union. The idea was to educate people about U.S. history through coin designs, and it worked brilliantly. More than 147 million Americans collected state quarters, according to the U.S. Mint. The Old Man of the Mountain, also called the Great Stone Face, was a series of 5 granite cliff ledges on Cannon Mountain in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. It stood about 1,200 feet above profile lake and was about 40 feet tall. For hundreds of years, it was a natural symbol of pride for the people of New Hampshire. However, due to natural erosion, the rocks collapsed on May 3, 2003, just 3 years after the coin's release. Now, only the coin and photographs remain as a memory of this amazing landmark. There's even a memorial site at Franconia Notch State Park where visitors can still see how the rock used to look. The design for the 2000 New Hampshire quarter was chosen after a public competition. Artists submitted different ideas, but the Old Man of the Mountain design won because it was simple, recognizable, and deeply meaningful. The final design was created by William Cousins, an engraver at the U.S. Mint, based on artwork by sculptor Marshall Fredericks. Cousins also engraved other famous coins, including some designs in the American Eagle program. Next, let's talk about the 1965 Washington quarter. This year is very special because it was the first year the U.S. Mint stopped using silver in quarters. Before 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver. Starting in 1965, they switched to A, copper-nickel clad composition. Most 1965 quarters are worth face value, just 25 cents. But here's the surprise. If you find a 1965 quarter struck on a 90% silver planchet, it's a major mint error. These rare silver 1965 quarters have sold for $5,000 to $10,000 or more. So if you suspect your 1965 quarter might be silver, check its weight. A silver one weighs 6.25 grams, while a regular clad coin weighs 5.67 grams. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first President of the United States. From 1932 to 1964, all Washington Quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. But in 1965, everything changed. The U.S. Mint stopped using silver in quarters due to the rising price of silver. People were hoarding coins for their silver value, and this caused a coin shortage in circulation. To fix this problem, the mint changed the metal composition from silver to a clad composition. Outer layer 75% copper and 25% nickel. Core pure copper. That's how the 1965 quarter became the first modern quarter without silver. Now, let's look at the design details of the 1965 quarter. You'll see the famous portrait of George Washington. The word liberty is above his head. The phrase, "I in God we trust," is on the left side, and the date, 1965, appears at the bottom. A majestic bald eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows. 2 olive branches surround the arrows, symbolizing peace and strength. The words United States of America and E pluribus unum are at the top. At the bottom, it reads quarter, dollar. This design was created by John Flanagan, and it stayed in use for decades until the State Quarter Series began in 1999. The 1965 quarter has a very unique fact. No mint marks were used that year. That means all 1965 quarters look the same, even though some were made in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. This was done on purpose by the U.S. Mint to prevent collectors from hoarding coins during the coin shortage. In total, more than 1.8 billion 1965 quarters were produced, making it one of the most common coins ever minted. However, not all 1965 quarters are ordinary. Some are very rare and valuable. Here are the physical details of the 1965 quarter. Composition: copper-nickel clad. Weight 5.67 grams. Diameter 24.3 millimeters. Thickness 1.75 millimeters. Edge reeded 119 reeds. Now, if your 1965 quarter weighs 6.25 grams, it might be a rare silver planchet. Error coin because it was struck accidentally on leftover 1964 silver. Blanks. These error coins would be extremely valuable. Let's look at the most valuable and rare types of the 1965 quarter. 1965 silver quarter error. Accidentally struck on a 90% silver planchet. These weigh 6.25 grams instead of 5.67. Value from $4,000 up to $10,000 plus. Depending on condition, you can see doubling on the word liberty or "I in God we trust." Value $200 to $1,000 depending on clarity and grade. Part of the design is missing because the coin wasn't centered properly. Value $100 to $500. A small curved piece is missing from the edge of the coin. Value $50 to $200. Struck using leftover silver blanks from 1964. These are the holy grail of 1965 quarters. Only a few exist. Now, let's talk about the values of the regular and rare 1965 quarters. Grade, condition, approximate. Value: circulated common, 25 to 35 cents. Uncirculated MS-60, MS-65, $1 to $5. Gem quality, MS-67, MS-68, $50 to $200. Silver error coin, $4,000 to $10,000 plus. If you want to check your coin's value, look for clean surfaces, sharp details, and strong luster. Coins graded by PCS or NGC as MS-67 or higher can sell for very high prices in auctions. The Coinage Act of 1965 was signed by President Lyndon B. Johnson on July 23, 1965. This law officially removes silver from U.S. dimes and quarters and reduces the silver content in half dollars from 90% to 40%. Before 1965, every quarter was made of 90% silver. But the silver price had become so high that people started melting coins for profit. To stop this, the U.S. Mint created a new material, copper-nickel clad, which looked like silver but contained no silver at all. This change saved the U.S. government millions of dollars and kept coins in circulation. Normally, every year the U.S. Mint makes proof coins, high-quality coins for collectors. But from 1965 to 1967, no proof sets were made. Instead, the Mint released special Mint sets, SMS. These are not as shiny as proofs, but better than normal circulation coins. The 1965 SMS quarter is highly collectible because of its strong strike and smooth surfaces. If you see a 1965 quarter with mirror-like surfaces and sharp details, it might be from the Special Mint set. Some of the 1965 Special Mint set quarters have a cameo or deep cameo effect where Washington's head looks frosty and the background is mirror shiny. These are very rare and highly prized by collectors. A 1965 SMS deep cameo quarter graded SP68 DCM by PCGS once sold for over $1,000. During the mid-1960s, collectors were blamed for the coin shortage. To discourage hoarding, the Mint removed mint marks from all coins made in 1965 to 1967. That's why you'll never find a D or S in a 1965 quarter, even though they were struck in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The 1965 quarter marks the end of the silver era and the beginning of modern U.S. coinage. That's why collectors see it as a turning point coin, not just in metal, but in the history of American money. Now, moving on to the 1981 D quarter, minted in Denver. This coin might seem ordinary, but collectors still seek high grade. Examples: if your coin has a strong strike, full details, and no scratches, it could grade MS-67 or MS-68, which can bring $150 to $400 at auction. However, there's also a rare no-FG variety with a designer's initials FG for Frank Asparo is missing on the reverse. Those coins can sell for hundreds of dollars depending on condition. So don't ignore your 1981 D quarters. You might have something special. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first president of the United States. By 1981, the design had already been circulating for nearly 50 years, but the coin still carried a lot of historical and collectible value. In 1981, the U.S. Mint produced Washington quarters at 3 mints: Philadelphia no mint mark, Denver D mint mark, San Francisco S mint mark for proof coins. Our focus today is the 1981 D quarter, which was minted in Denver, Colorado. The Denver Mint struck an impressive 356,052,000 quarters in 1981. That's over 356 million coins, making it quite common in circulation. But don't be fooled. Even though the mintage was large, certain varieties and errors can make a single coin very valuable today. Here are the technical details every collector should know. Country: United States. Year: 1981. Mint mark D Denver. Designer: John Flanagan. Composition: 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, copper-nickel clad. Weight: 5.67 grams. Diameter: 24.3 millimeters. Edge reeded. The outer layers are a nickel-copper blend, while the inner core is pure copper, giving it that silvery shine. Features the bust of George Washington, facing left. Above his head is the word Liberty. To the left, you'll see "I in God we trust." And just below the portrait is the year, 1981. The D mint mark appears on the right side of Washington's ponytail. Just above the date side features a majestic bald eagle, perched on a bundle of arrows, symbolizing defense, and 2 olive branches below, representing peace. Around the rim are the inscriptions: United States of America on top, E pluribus unum just above the eagle, and quarter dollar at the bottom. This design by John Flanagan remained on the quarter until 1998, before the state quarters program began in 1999. Now, let's talk about the exciting part of valuable errors and rare varieties of the 1981 D quarter. Some coins show doubling on the inscriptions Liberty or I in God We Trust. These are quite rare and can fetch $100 to $400 depending on condition. Doubling can also occur on the eagles, wings, or the letters quarter dollar. These are harder to find but highly sought after. If the coin design is misaligned, say 10% to 50%, off-center values range from $50 to over $300, depending on how much of the design is visible. Clip planchet error. When a small piece of metal is missing from the edge of the coin, it's called a clip. Such coins are worth $20 to $100. Die cracks or cuds. These appear as raised lines or blobs of metal on the coin surface collectors love. Them. Value ranges from $10 to $75 based on visibility. Now, let's talk about how much your 1981 D quarter can be worth today. Condition value approximate. Circulated average, 25 cents. Uncirculated MS60, $1 to $3. Brilliant uncirculated MS65, $8 to $15. Gem condition MS67, $100 to $250. With rare errors or doubling $300 to $1,000 plus. According to PCGS Professional Coin Grading Service, the highest graded 1981 D quarters MS68 have sold for over $1,000 at auction. You can still find 1981 D quarters in old pocket change, coin rolls from banks, coin shops, or flea markets. If you find one in near perfect condition, avoid cleaning it. Cleaning can reduce its value drastically. Instead, store in a plastic coin holder or airtight capsule to preserve its luster. Collectors note that 1981 D quarters can have a distinct metallic shine compared to Philadelphia coins from the same year. Denver Mint coins were struck with fresher dies and better die alignment, so the luster shine can be more brilliant. High-grade specimens have cartwheel luster, a reflective pattern that moves across the surface when you tilt the coin. Under light, this is a sign of a mint state. Coin. There are several minor die varieties, documented by coin specialists. Die clash marks when two dies hit each, other without a planchet between them. They leave faint ghost images of the design on the opposite side. Filled mint mark D. Some coins show a partially filled or blob-like D mint mark because of die debris or over-polishing. Weak strike areas. Some 1981 D quarters show weakness in eagles. Feathers, this can affect grading but adds interest for variety collectors. Coins from 1981 mint sets are generally better struck and preserved than those found in circulation. If you have a 1981 D quarter from an official U.S. mint set, it will likely grade higher, sometimes MS66 or MS67, compared to circulation strikes that rarely exceed MS64. These mint set coins have frosty surfaces and minimal contact marks, making them desirable for grading. Submissions. The 1981 D Washington quarter has traveled across over 40 years of U.S. history and is still in circulation. It may have passed through thousands of hands from the Reagan era to today. Every small scratch tells a story of its journey through time. Finally, let's talk about the 1985 P quarter minted in Philadelphia. While it's common in circulation, a flawless MS67 or higher example can sell for $150 to $250. Collectors also look for die cracks, off-center strikes, or doubling errors on this coin. If you find one with clear mint errors, it can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Always check your coins under good lighting, or with a magnifying glass. You never know what hidden gems you might discover. The Washington Quarter Series started in 1932, originally designed to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The designer was John Flanagan, and the coin replaced the standing Liberty quarter. Now, by 1985, the Washington Quarter had already become a major part of daily American life. The 1985 P quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, identified by the P mint mark located just beside Washington's ponytail. This was during a period when quarters were made of copper-nickel-clad composition, meaning they were no longer made of silver, but a mix of 75% copper and 25% nickel over a pure copper core. In 1985, the Philadelphia Mint produced an enormous number of these coins mintage. About 775 million quarters were struck that year at Philadelphia. That's a lot of coins, which is why most 1985 P quarters are still considered common in circulation. However, not all are equal. Collectors look for coins in high mint, state grades MS-65, MS-66, and higher. These are the gems that can be quite valuable. You can identify a Philadelphia coin by the small letter P on the obverse side, just above the date. Let's take a closer look at the design. Features a left-facing bust of George Washington. The word Liberty appears at the top. The motto, "I in God we trust," is on the left. The date 1985 is shown at the bottom. The mint mark P is located just above the date. Shows a majestic bald eagle with wings spread, clutching arrows and olive branches, symbolizing strength and peace. The top says United States of America, below it E pluribus unum, and at the bottom $quarter. The engraver John Flanagan initials, JF, are located under Washington's neck. The 1985 P quarter is not silver, it's clad. Here are the key specs. Composition 91.67% copper, 8.33%. Nickel, copper-nickel clad. Weight 5.67 grams. Diameter 24.3 millimeters. Thickness 1.75 millimeters. Edge reeded 119 reeds. Even though it's not silver, the coin still carries collector interest for its condition and possible mint errors. Now, let's talk about the most exciting part valuable mint errors found in 1985 P quarters. Here are some rare and valuable ones you should look for. When the design is not properly centered on the coin, value $50 to $300 depending on how off-centered it is, doubling visible in the lettering "I in God we trust" or on the date. These are highly collectible and can be worth $100 to $800. A portion of the coin is missing due to a cutting error during minting. Value $50 to $200. Broad strike error. The coin appears wider with no reeded edge. Value $100 or more. Raised lines or blobs on the surface caused by a cracked die. Value $25 to $150 depending on severity. Missing clad layer error. Part of the nickel layer missing, exposing copper underneath. Very rare and can sell for $400 plus. So, always check your pocket change carefully. You might just find a valuable 1985 P quarter. The value of your 1985 P quarter depends on its grade and condition. Let's break it down. Circulated coins. Usually worth face value, 25 cents, up to $1 or $2 if lightly worn. Uncirculated mint state coins. MS-63 around $5 to $10. MS-65 about $15 to $25. MS-66 can reach $75 to $150. MS-67 extremely rare, can sell for $400 to $1,200. According to PCGS and NGC auction records, the highest known sale of a 1985 P quarter in MS-67 condition reached over $1,300 US. Here are a few expert tips for collectors. Always store your coins in airtight holders to prevent oxidation. Never clean your coins, it reduces their value dramatically. Get your best coins professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. Search through bankrolls and old coin jars. High-grade quarters still appear in circulation. Focus on strike quality and luster when evaluating your 1985 P quarters. So, friends, these are the 4 amazing quarter dollars, each with its own history, hidden value, and collector demand. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, because every week we uncover more secrets about rare and valuable coins. Tell me in the comments which coin you have in your collection. Maybe I'll feature it in my next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy collecting!